After about 18 months of use, we've had our first issue now with our LG OLED TV. We've mostly been using this TV for watching movies, playing video games, and watching sports, and we've loved it. However, as we were watching Disney Plus last week, we noticed there was a band of discolored display on the right side of the TV. You might be looking at it now and saying you don't see it. Well, that's because it doesn't actually always show up. So I'm on the picture test page right now, which is one of the things LG suggests that you do if you do have issues with your TV. And it's not noticeable here. Part of the problem is that it's only noticeable in certain scenes. So a lot of times you don't even notice it, and all of a sudden it'll pop up in the middle of a scene. It'll be really annoying. So I actually put sticky notes here. It's actually a really wide band of color right here that gets disoriented sometimes as you're watching movies or playing video games. And it's a really wide bar. This is about 3.5 inches wide. And I've looked a lot online for this type of issue, and I keep finding people reporting banding issues, but I've never seen anything quite this wide. So I did go to the YouTube app and search for the 5% grayscale video, and that really points out the problem much better. So as you can see, there's a huge area here of discoloration, and it goes all the way from the top to the bottom. But it doesn't always show that entire length. Sometimes it'll only be the top or the bottom, or even bits in between. So it's really annoying because it's not consistent, and it's not really always obvious when you're going to run into this problem. A lot of times when playing video games, I barely notice it. And then in movies, you won't notice it at all. And then all of a sudden you'll notice it really bad in a scene, and it's really annoying. I did reach out to LG about this issue, and I got kind of the boilerplate response. Our TV's out of warranty. It only had a year manufacturer warranty. So we got the response like, sorry that you're having problems with your TV, but it did have a handful of things I can try, which I'm going to do in this video to see if any of them help. But I'd love to hear comments from anyone if you've run into this exact same issue where it's a really wide bar that runs all the way from top to bottom. So the first thing it does suggest is to do this picture test, which I have up now. And I'll show you the path here. You go to settings. Let me redo it. So let me start from the beginning. You need to go to settings, all settings, support, additional settings, and then picture test. And again, even looking really close at this, I don't see that discoloration at all here. So I will say that it is correct. And then it's just telling me about FHD versus UHD. And I'll hit OK on that. I'll go back to the YouTube video. And you can really see it clearly here. It's paused. Now it's changing the grayscale here. This one actually is really all broken up, so it's not a solid bar all the way to top. Sometimes it'll be just the top or just the bottom. So in this case, it's just the top. There's a couple little lines here at the bottom, but it's mostly at the top. The second thing they suggested in the email I got back from LG was to check all your connections into the TV. For me, that's just the Xbox. I'm going to remove all those connections just to make sure, but we've noticed this with the built-in app, so I don't think the connections are really going to matter, but just to make sure, I'll disconnect everything to make sure that somehow those connections aren't causing a problem. So with nothing plugged in, I'm still seeing the problem. It also mentioned trying different internal apps instead of having an external component hooked up, which I'm already using with YouTube. It's already what we noticed with Disney Plus. We were using the built-in app for that. The next thing it suggests is a power cycle. So it suggests unplugging the TV, holding the power button for 10 seconds, and then plugging the TV back in. And I'd actually never used the power button before, but I did notice that down here does turn the TV off. So I'll be doing that. I will unplug the TV, hold that in for 10 seconds, and then plug the TV back in and see if it makes any difference. So it doesn't say if the TV should be on or not when you unplug it. I'm going to leave it on, I guess, and I'll unplug it. And then again, the power button's right down here. So that was about 10 seconds. I'm going to plug it back in. Then I'll turn it on and I'll go back to the YouTube app. And I can already see it here as it loads. I don't even need to get to that video. So this is where you'll notice it's not always consistent. So it's really hit or miss. It really depends on the content you're showing whether or not that issue shows up. One other thing I did try was the pixel refresher. This is something the TV should do on its own automatically every so often anyways, but I thought I'd run it once as well. It takes about an hour and you need to leave the TV off the entire time. It automatically turns back on when it's done. But after running this, it made no difference. I still had the same problem. The last thing they mentioned trying is to reset all settings on the TV, so I'll do that now. Go to Settings, All Settings, Support, and then reset to initial settings. You will lose all your apps and stuff and any passwords you've entered for any of those. And I can see the problem already, so that didn't fix it. It's only really noticeable at the bottom right now.
Press the OK button, wheel, on your remote.
So the next step would be to have actually a technician come out and inspect the TV and give me an estimate for a repair. I'd love to hear from anyone else who's had this problem, especially if you've been able to fix it. If there's anything I can try myself before having to hire someone to actually fix it. So please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.